Hey, thanks for hanging with us, okay? Thanks for hanging on.
Please note that the content of this podcast is intended for informational purposes only and should not be considered medical advice. Always consult with a qualified healthcare professional regarding any medical concerns or conditions. The views and opinions expressed by our guests and hosts are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of MSAD or Critical Mental Health. Patrick Graham is of the Christian faith and an ordained minister in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Thank you for listening.
Hey, we're asking everybody to subscribe here on YouTube, and make sure that you're with us on our social media platforms.
Welcome to Managing Stress, Anxiety, and Depression, the MSAD podcast, a production of Critical Mental Health. You're listening to Patrick Graham, who specializes in trauma healing and expresses a love for mental health management. Join us as we explore expert interviews, personal testimonials, and evidence-based discussions that empower you to take control of your mental health journey. Whether you're experiencing challenges with cognitive health or simply passionate about mental wellness, there's something here for everyone. Let's get started.
Well, everybody, we are here together at MSAD, Managing Stress, Anxiety, and Depression. And one of the conversations that we're having today is actually dealing with weight loss and even for your mental health. Those of you who are with us, please don't forget to subscribe. Do that. Pass this on to somebody that you know, somebody who may be even dealing with the same. I have a friend of mine who I knew him since around 1998, 99 in Michigan. We were going to school together. And I watched his progress from the time that following him from his weight loss journey. Not saying that it was easy, but I want to give him all the time that he needs to talk to us about how do you get from step one to where he is right now. Just want to let everyone know that you can have the opportunity to call in. You can do that, and if you go ahead and call in with us, we'll be able to answer any of your questions. So thanks for hanging with us today. We want to bring together my friend Ivan. I know I put in there Ercell, but I don't know who that is. I have no clue.
Ercell.
Ercell. I don't know who Ercell is.
You're a
But
funny guy.
grateful for you to hang with us. Grateful for
Hey,
you to
thanks
hang
for
with
having
us.
me. Thank you so much.
Oh man, we're good. We're good. Good. Talk to me. Um, what got you on that? uh, what made you begin this journey? How did it all start?
Um, First of all, I just want to say thank you for what you're doing, bro.
Oh man.
I think it's incredible that you're opening a space where people can have conversations that are tough. I think that's beautiful to do.
Mm.
So I think first of all, just shout outs to you for taking the space and creating a space where this
Appreciate
conversation
that.
can even happen, man.
Appreciate that. Appreciate
Um,
that. Appreciate that.
I was actually thinking a lot about that today, and I think for me, it was one of those things where enough was enough.
Mm.
Enough was enough. Um, and I don't think I fully understood what it meant or what I was doing at the time when I made that decision.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of my big just ahas today, this morning was like the changing your life truly is changing your life. So it's like for me, but I think the entry into this type of a transformation
Mm-hmm.
is always something that's focused on one thing. Like let me stop doing this thing or let me learn this one thing that's going to change it all. But it's like the pursuit of this thing has now opened the door to true change for everything else. And so for me, it was like the catalyst was weight. Tired of being fat.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
but I think when I think back on it, it wasn't that I hated being fat. I realized like I hated my life. And at the time, I feel like my weight was the biggest contributor to that hatred.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
it's just like
Okay.
this is the thing in my life that I've focused the most on. This is the thing that I obsess over. You know, this is the
Mm-hmm.
thing that I've allowed to control me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so this is the thing I have to change to make my life right. And it literally came down to just enough is enough.
I mean, do you tell
You
yourself
know,
that, or is it people that say that to you? Is it people who look at you, or this was just you? This is something you had to do.
it was me, to be honest. It was years and years of like, my mom, Ivan, come on, dude, like, just come on, can you stop stealing all the snacks, friends. Let me tell you something, bro. My mom, God bless that lady. That
Yeah,
lady
yeah.
is the greatest. My mother's the greatest woman on the planet. And this is going to come up throughout this conversation
Okay,
because just I
okay.
think I think just the realization
Sure,
of
sure.
what she also supported me through to discover. Like I realize now, like my parents, like my mother knows me better than like she was the first person that knew me.
Right, right,
You know
right,
what I'm saying? So it's
right,
like I can trust her assessment of me.
right.
And so it's one of these things where like she held our house together and allowed my habit to rip through it
Good night.
and created space for me to come to the realization I've got to change. And this is after being out of her home for 25 some years. But it's like it started then, like the space of Ivan, sweetheart, do you need it? I know you want it, but do you need all this food?
Wow.
Ivan, how do you feel about yourself?
Mm.
And the discovery that she walked on eggshells for many, many years, supporting me until I was just ready to change myself. And then I look at my sorry.
No, 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 no. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Everybody has a turning point, right?
yeah.
Everybody has that moment in time, that Luke 15. I found myself. I'm right where. What was the click? What was that? What was that
The,
moment?
the moment was okay. So this started during the lockdown, COVID. So during COVID, I started experiencing super depression. And in the process of this depression, and when I say start experiencing it, I re-experienced the depression that I'd been hiding,
Okay, okay,
that I'd
got you,
put away,
got you.
right?
Understood.
The stay at home order was like, now you've got to face this because
Mm.
you're stuck at home all day. And there's no one you can distract yourself with. You can't go to
Wow.
the bar, you can't go to the movies,
Right,
you can't you're stuck.
right.
And for a single person, you're already living in quarantine. So now not being able to leave your home, it's like,
That's.
I've got to go,
I think that's another show right there.
bro. Dude, I remember the stay at home was almost like nothing really changed in my life beyond until it hit me that I can't leave, that I'm stuck with myself, you know. But the depression that I had been maneuvering around was in my face every moment,
Hmm.
and the question of do I want to live started making its play.
Ooh.
Do you really want to live like this? You trying to live this way? This ain't it. And at the time, it was like, yeah, it's not it. And I think I just want to die.
Oh wow.
So initially, bro, the plan was suicide on my birthday. It'll be poetic. The tombstone will have the same date, different year. And I'm gonna write this beautiful goodbye letter, and it's gonna be this thing. And the artist in me was like, yeah, that's how you're supposed to go out. But then my boy Carlos dies.
Do I know
Carlos dies.
Carlos? Do I know Carlos?
You don't you
Okay,
don't you
okay.
don't know
Hmm.
Carlos.
Hmm.
Carlos was another big dude. He was bigger than me. He
Hmm.
was a comedian.
Okay.
We met in Nebraska,
Hmm.
and we were
Hmm.
part of the Fat Man comedian fraternity.
Okay.
The
Gotcha.
um And when he died, it was like, whoa, because he was in his 30s. He was like 31, 32, a young fella. And when he passed away, he died. This is how crazy he died. Him and his mother got COVID. His mother passed on a Tuesday. As he's responding to condolences on Wednesday afternoon, he dies.
No
He
way.
dies. They found him dead on his keyboard, or in the vicinity of literally, hey, thanks so much. God bless you, bro. We're just trying to deal with it. Yeah, he dies. So when he passed away, I was just like, okay, am I really living? Have I really done the deal for life? Because death is on the way. It's a guarantee. No one's gonna stop death. Nothing can stop it.
That's right. That's right.
So am I living my life trying not to die, or am I really living my life to live? And it hit me like, bro, you're not living. You're just trying to avoid the inevitable. How psychopathic is that? You're trying to live a life that steers you from the one guarantee in life. And so that was probably where my back was against the wall. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to live, dude, and you haven't been doing it. So it's safe to say it's time to do the opposite of everything you've been doing.
Wow. Wow. Before you go
So
on past
sure,
that,
sure.
what did depression look like? I think that a lot of us see it different, what it might look like for this. What did it look like for you?
Depression for me, it's twofold.
Okay.
If I have an audience, it's fun because you don't know I'm depressed. Um, and I actually discovered, like, wow, this is what my depression really looks like when I'm alone. But for me, it's just, I just found myself in a space where I was in continual sadness.
Okay.
There was a lot of despair.
Okay.
One of my biggest fears, and one of my biggest, like, things I've been working through, has been the idea of being abandoned, being left. You're not worth keeping. So when I get depressed, the thoughts that come up are, no one, no, it's always the no one stuff. And eventually it becomes self-talk. No one wants you around, no one likes you, no one this, to, I don't like you, I don't want to be around you, I hate it. It becomes a very singular conversation.
Wow.
Because I've done enough work with my depression to understand that it's not y'all. It's not you, it's me. And there's that reality of, bro, like, you're being depressed in the wrong direction. Like, if you want to do this thing right, do it right.
Right.
So then so so
Right.
so then so then so then it becomes this deep, dark isolation
Right. There we go.
that
There we go.
that happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm great at isolating, and so for me, it's a case of staying away and then accepting that I deserve to not be a part of the thing.
Wow.
I deserve to not be a part of community. I deserve to not have meaningful relationships. I deserve to not have something exciting. Like, I deserve all of these things, which is why I'm here right now.
Wow. Wow.
And
And you convince
that's
yourself of that. This is where I am. This is it. What about
yeah.
so Carlos is gone,
Mhm.
and you made, and one of the reasons why I wanted people to understand that is because I think we look at depression in different lenses. Some things
Yeah.
you're just moving around, some things, and I loved when you said just now, when you talked about depression, when you have a crowd, you can hide it in the crowd. I mean, you can hide it while performing. You can hide.
Beautifully, beautifully. Oh, I'm a master, dog.
It ain't about me, but ministry too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Real talk.
yep. You can mask that thing really good,
Oh,
man. Really good, really good.
let me. What do you think about this? Because I think, like, the parable where where the master gives out the talent,
Yeah, go ahead, go
right?
ahead, go ahead.
It gives the five, the three, the one. I've always viewed the guy that got one talent as, like, poor dude. But in hindsight, when I look back, I'm like, no, that's the dude the master knew had all the things. He didn't need a big investment because he wasn't gonna he was already ready to go. So let me not waste the four tries I can give these other duds. Here's the one coin, go do the thing. And I say that because I've discovered that those of us that get to serve, speak, inspire, move, and deal with larger groups of people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have found that the temptation to jump into depression is always readily available because we're already taking on the people in front of us. There's no way you go and get in front of a group of people and you're not there for them. There's no way.
That's right.
You're there for them.
That's
So it's
right.
like when you're being present to a bunch of hurting people, it's like the temptation to go to the other side is so much. Like when I was doing stand up,
Yeah.
people would come up to me, bro, and they'll be like, "Oh man, I'm like, I'm telling fart jokes and fat jokes.
Right. Right. Right.
Folks are coming up like, yo, we came to Omaha because of Children's Hospital. Our son's in the cancer ward right now. We came out for a couple hours just to escape. Thank you." And it's like, what? Like, huh? And I'm discovering that when you have that gift, when you have that type of a space, I feel that emotions, depressions, and those things hit you even deeper
Yeah.
because it's like you've taken it on from the people you've passed.
That's right.
So now you're dealing with your depression, the depression that's latched onto you from groups
From
you've talked to.
somebody else. That's right.
So now you've got to like unpack all the depression just to get to your depression. And I feel like the first few years was like me, like, wait a minute, this isn't my depression. Like discovering the layers of like, wow, depression is real.
Yeah.
And it's multifaceted
Mm-hmm.
and it really gets to be whatever you create it to be.
Mm.
So I'm happy that you asked, what is it for you?
Right.
Because everyone's depression looks differently and plays itself out differently. I think I'd say the active nature of my depression is consumption. So I'm troughing it out. How quickly can we empty this box of chicken? How quickly can we finish this extra large pizza? For me, that's how I was able to physically work out the depression.
Right.
The
Right.
last bite is going to get me to the end of my depression, which
Mm.
was the biggest lie because the last bite normally hurt. There was normally physical pain. And then the realization, man, I just ate enough food for a family and I'm going to be fatter tomorrow. So it never ended well. But the lie was, this is going to get you through, you know?
So was that the click? I know you said Carlos,
Yeah.
but it was the click that this is what I got from what you said. It's not about everybody now. You
Yeah.
can't blame this now on everybody. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
It's now. Listen, I got to deal with this.
Yeah.
I got to deal with
And
this.
and the gut punch that I think it kind of started off as a gut punch, but now it's a space where I'm experiencing power.
Right.
But at first it was a case of, man, I can't blame this on anybody. And I want this to be my mom's fault.
Right.
I want this to be my dad's fault.
Right.
I want
Right.
this to be like I want this to be their fault.
Right.
Because as long as it's their fault, I can hold it
And you
against
good.
them,
That's
and I'm good.
that's
I'm
right.
a, I'm a result of what they did. But then you start looking at the data, you start looking at the transcripts, like, wait a second. Uh, I was, it's like, nah, it's not the case at all. You know,
So is it really about mindset now? I mean, now you
100%. Yeah.
was there a rock bottom weight
Oh
wise?
yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, I gotta, so like 15, I guess I'd say fifth, let's say 11, 12. We'll say 12 years ago, I got a lap band surgery. A lap band is a device that pretty much puts the top of your stomach in a headlock.
Okay.
And what it does is when you're eating, it pretty much stops food flow. So you've got to eat smaller bites and pace out your bites because if you eat too quick and too much, it's going to fill that hole. You're going to be in pain. You're going to throw up. It's a guarantee. They turn the hole to your stomach to like the size of a dime, right? So you've got to spend extra time chewing, just
Just to make sure.
I
Right.
got this just to make sure it goes through. And then there's certain things you just can't eat anymore. So kind of like if you follow the rules of what eating looks like after they apply the device to your body, you're gonna drop weight. It's a guarantee. And I probably dropped 100 and some pounds. Like I probably I dropped 70 pounds in like the first 4 months. I mean, it was wicked,
What is it called?
bro.
What is it called?
It's a lap band.
A lap band. Okay.
Um, and the only reason why I didn't do like the sleeve or the other ones because they were just way too invasive. And I was like, and I'll be honest, it was ego.
Okay.
For me, it was if I get the sleeve, it's gonna be guaranteed, but I can't really take credit for having new habits because
Mm,
the new anatomy forces your hand, whereas this device is just a tool. So it was ego, 100% ego, right? Then I gained it all back. I figured out a way, like I haven't had my lab band removed. It's still inside me to this day. If I eat too quick, too much, too fast, I'm throwing up. But I figured out a way to gain all my weight back.
wow.
I figured out a way that they were like, your body, our
Makes a way.
bodies are so incredible, dude. Like
It
just
makes a
how they
way. It makes a way.
it- our bodies are gonna figure it out, right?
Wow.
And so it's like my guess is because now there's certain things I'll eat, and I'm just like, yep, I didn't even feel it go through the hole. Yep. So they're like, this you can stretch out your stomach because it's a muscle.
Right.
So
Okay.
how you eat can retrain how your stomach is with that band. And I was able to break the code. And so I put all the weight back on, um, even more so to the point where I'm like at my largest before surgery, I was a 6X. At my largest after surgery, it got up to a 7. So it was just like,
Let me just I'm just looking real quick for this because and I asked you permission if I can put some of this up.
oh yeah, sure, yeah, sure,
Um
whatever you have, you can show.
um if I can find it. um it I'm trying to figure out where you were when you started to talk about your just give me a second. I'm gonna try to find it here. Um,
Yeah.
when you look at so tell me when you say I'm not sure if we're looking at the left or the right. What was big for you?
I would say the gray shirt of me sitting down,
Hmm.
I would say maybe add 20, 30 pounds on top of that. And that was probably my biggest of all time ever. I'd say the gray shirt is also the biggest I was post surgery.
Was a lap band
Um,
in at this time,
yeah, yeah. Black men's in all those photos. Yeah.
and you found a way around that?
Bro, it's where there's a will, there's a way.
Okay,
And
right, right.
I think more importantly, here's one thing you're never gonna do in life.
Hmm.
You're never gonna get that dollar back from a crackhead if you give it to him. Ever. That crackhead's gone.
That's true.
Ever.
I'm sorry, that was part of the
You
stand
had
up. You got it.
if you hand a crackhead a $20 bill on accident, he's not gonna give it back to you to get change.
That's
You
true.
just lost 20
You lost
bucks,
20 bucks. You're right. You're right.
right?
You're right.
Guaranteed. I say the same thing goes for addiction just in general. Like addiction finds a way, whether you like it or not. Addiction's gonna figure it out, especially when you're a slave, when you don't have control to the thing, it owns you. And so for me, it's like I remember the day I was driving down Van Buren here in Riverside. I crossed Indiana. I was going into work, and I was like, you know what? I think I want a breakfast burrito today. And literally, that was the
That was it.
off
That
of it.
broke that
That
broke
was
that.
it. Dunzo. And so within 6, 7 months, gained all the way back. And in my mind, I'm used to gaining weight. So I'm used to that conversation of, bro, I mean, you did well for a little while, but I mean, you're meant to be a fat guy yourself. This is what it is. So like you can't escape who you are. And like that was my self-talk. That was the self-talk. You've been fat since you were a kid. Accept it, bro, and just go make some good dinner and go enjoy food and go find these restaurants and be a foodie and enjoy it because this is your life. This is who you are.
Wow. You know,
And
you were mentioning. I've heard you before mention Inside Out. You mentioned that before, like losing weight is not from the outside in, but it's from the inside out. Touch that
yeah,
for me real quick.
it's a and this is just something I discovered along the
Yeah,
way.
that's fine.
You know what I mean? Like it's one of these things where it's like, oh crap, I'm not necessarily like fighting addiction is a tricky thing because you've gotta address whatever the thing you're doing. Drugs, food, abuse, sex, like whatever you're doing, you've got to address that thing.
Right.
However, that's not the root. That's not the cause. That's the response to what's happening.
Mm.
So it's like so like because here's what happened. I realized I was maybe 5 months in. I'd lost maybe let's just say 35, 40 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Enough weight for people to say you look like you're losing weight. So I was at that point where people were starting to notice.
Mm.
We had started meeting again for church. They lifted our stay at home in order.
That's right. That's
So
right.
we're meeting outside at the park. That's what
Right.
it was. They were like, you can meet outdoors. So I get to outside church and they're like, Urs, what are you doing? You look different. And I'm like, no, y'all just ain't seen me in a few months, man. Y'all crazy. Which is another sad part about being depressed. You can't accept any kind of love. You can't accept any kind of praise because that just goes against your self-talk,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
But people started to notice, right? So it hit me like everyone's now noticing, everyone's giving me congratulations, but I still feel terrible. I feel horrible. And I'm just like, and I'm even confused, like, this isn't this what I wanted? I thought losing weight would bring me happiness. But it's like, oh, you got rid of your coping mechanism for your problem. So yeah, the result is you're losing weight, but now you can't cope with your depression, your anxiety, your sadness, your hurt, your all these things that food has been that safe space for.
Mm.
What do you do?
Mm.
So that's when it hit me like, all right, I got to do something deeper because I don't want to go backwards, but I'm miserable, you know. And so that's when it was the aha of, okay, I've got to really start doing some real heart and mind work
Wow.
and take this stuff seriously because if I'm not taking it seriously, I'm never gonna win this thing. I'm never gonna experience something different.
Mm.
And so it was like, and I feel like God set me up to experience the tangible, easy physical result to say, look now, the real work I'm trying to do is in your heart.
Man.
Like I'm about to give you a new body in eternity. You think I care about your body? I don't give a dang about your body, bruh. I want your heart. I'm gonna get to your heart through your body. So it's like the discovery, and that's honestly, I think, when the real journey started. Because now it's like, man, it's easy to identify food. That was easy. But now you want me to unpack my past, Lord? You want me to face these things that I've been eating myself away from? You want me to, all right. And so it's like that's when the intentional pursuit of rewriting this thing started. You
Was it
know,
difficult?
oh, it's to this day, like the work doesn't end. Like there's no if people are hoping that there's like, oh, this is how it ends, I don't think it does. There's always going to be like right now, currently, what I'm wrestling with is the understanding that I'm not the fattest guy in the room anymore, and like what that actually means. I'm at a party 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and Tia Burt's party. Her son's there. Donnie's there. Donnie's a big boy. He's like, 6'6", big dude. And the
Mm-hmm.
photographer that was there was even bigger. Huge, big
Mm-hmm.
fella. 6'8" probably, but had a nice belly as well. Could
Right.
could easily drop 100 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all standing there talking, and Donnie's like, yo, we're just having a good time. And he mentions like, man, Ursh, you're the smallest one in our group. And I'm looking at them like, oh snap, you're right. I'm not the big guy anymore. And the gut punch of like, wow, like that's meant some negative things for me, but that's also meant some positive things, So it's like the discovery that I've still got to not just unwrap my hands around this old identity, but also learn to update who I am in my mind, you know.
Dr. David
If that,
Defoe
if that
said,
makes sense.
no, it does, because Dr. David
Yeah.
Defoe said one day that we grieve, even those who get married grieve singleness
Hmm.
at one point or another. There's
Hmm.
something that even when you get rid of it, you still grieve it until you get to that
Yeah.
place where
Yeah.
you're comfortable with who you are. knowing what
Yeah.
the past is like, so there are, you know, I remember my uncle who was a crack addict, I mean, selling turkeys at Thanksgiving.
Mm.
He says, I could walk down the street and hear it calling me.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah.
understand that until you have certain addictions of your own,
Yeah.
all right? Until you have certain proclivities of your own, then now you start to say to yourself, okay, now I understand. That's your thing. This is
Yep.
my thing over here.
Yep.
One day we were talking, it was a while back, and you were telling me that even before you used to go into like to go out to eat, how you would check the chairs or something like that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hit me
Yeah.
with that real quick. I
you,
mean,
you 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 have to the the biggest thing about being fat, like, okay, there's fat people and then there's just obese.
okay,
Right? You know what I'm saying? And I say that jokingly, I'm not trying to clown or whatever, but it's
no,
like
no,
fat people, I feel like the world is very fat friendly.
okay,
You got 20, 30 pounds on you.
okay, okay,
You know what I'm saying?
okay,
That's cool.
okay.
When you're obese, though, it's a whole different challenge because now nothing is even meant for you in mind because now you're beyond the scope of even what large would be considered for a normal person. Like, we're gonna make these seats larger, but you still can't fit in them.
I
You know what I
think
mean?
I think I saw this on your page.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. Like, yep. Flying has become nowadays. Flying has become nothing.
like you love it, like
Patrick, we're flying back from Florida a couple months ago.
right.
No, I'm sorry. We're flying back from Denver a couple months ago. And it was such a last minute trip. We weren't able to get, they were like, we're going to pick your seats. All the good seats are taken. You'll sit where we tell you to sit type
Right,
thing, right?
right, 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 right.
The way there was cool. The way back though, I get stuck with the middle seat. And here's what I discovered, bro. I think the middle seat's the best seat in the plane. I mean, because you don't have the wall of the plane where you're kind of sitting, kind of turned.
Right, right, right.
You don't have the aisle.
Aisle, right.
If you can get those two armrests down, you're chilling. And I'm sitting in the middle of this seat between my buddy and some stranger, and no one knows I'm there because I'm not falling all on them. And it was the first time I've flown, and I was just like, oh, snap. This is living. This is living now. This living
You
ain't.
so if you
This
had to
is
get on a flight before, you were overthinking it.
First of all, I didn't fly spur of the moment because every fat person knows they charge for seats, and I've got to get a seat I can fit in. So I'm always thinking about where's the seating situation. Um, and it does cause a level of like asking for a seatbelt extension, all that crap. Like, I'm so used to it, it doesn't embarrass me anymore. But there's that space when you walk on the plane initially, the stewardess sees you and they're like, yeah, yo, big bus gonna need some. All right, do you want it now, or do you want me to hand it to you undercover slickly, or do you want to sit down and then have me come to you to bring it? But either way, you're gonna need the seatbelt extension. And chances are, whoever you're sitting next to is gonna be annoyed. And it's just this experience of being embarrassed, being ashamed, but also just apologizing. Sorry, 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 because you're in everybody's way. And here's the thing about it, rightfully so. People should be annoyed that I'm spilling over on them because it's like they didn't pay for that. They've already spent $500. Now they've got to get squished because some dude can't control his habits. Like, I get the experience. I'm not mad at the public, but it's just it was one of those experiences that sucked. And now it's a thing where it's like, all right, here's one less thing to worry about.
Going
Here's
out to
one,
eat. I
here's
remember you saying like
brother,
like
yeah,
if the handles or something like that, you were like, I
bro.
wanted to, if I go ahead if I had a chair that did not have handles or something that we were talking about.
You it's a thing where, the chairs with arms are the fat guy's enemy, because they're never wide enough of a chair for you to fit in. Restaurants aren't trying to they're not trying to waste money on chairs unless it's like a 5-star experience.
Right, right,
I'm not dining Ruth's Chris every time I go to eat.
right,
That's a twice a year thing.
right,
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
but the local Italian spot, they're not. Olive Garden has arms, so I never dined at Olive Garden from high school till now, because it's like I can't fit. And so it's a thing where when I would get invited out, for example, like I'd Google these places. Like, let me just see what the chair
That's what you
situation is.
said. That's what you said to me.
Let me Google it. Let me look at images. What can I figure out and find out before this reservation, before this date, before this meal, that I can be prepared to have a plan of action? Um, because the goal is to go in there and not let it show that you're embarrassed. And so for me, if I have a plan, I can just stick to the plan. And so yeah, like yeah, most times I would just either cancel or try to steer to a direction of a restaurant where I know the chairs are ones I can fit in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If that didn't work, it was one of those things where I would just, all right, let me turn this into, I have a couple different comedy routines that I made up in for this type of a moment. I'll make everybody laugh, and everybody will laugh as we're swapping the chair, because most restaurants always have a chair somewhere that you can
The
fit
baby chair on the
somewhere.
side.
Yeah, there's always something,
Okay.
but it's normally in a place where it's not going to make sense for the server because it's not their normal. So it's like, whatever that process is, I have enough jokes for the moment to entertain the crowd. Um, that stress
So,
doesn't exist anymore.
do
You know,
does it
there's
feel
there's something
funny?
about a booth at a restaurant, bro.
Yeah, man. It's just different. It's just
It's
different.
it's it's one of my favorite descriptions. It's, God's way is easy and light. If it ain't easy, if it ain't light, it ain't him. My yoke is easy, my burden is light. This wasn't supposed to, it's not supposed to be a struggle. And I feel like this was the yoke and burden I chose for myself. And as I heal from it, I'm discovering so many things about life that are so simple you wouldn't even notice it. Like, and I feel like that's what life's supposed to be. Life, like, you're not supposed to be walking around worrying about a chair. You're not supposed to be walking around worrying, like, is the seatbelt gonna fix? That shouldn't be something you're even concerning yourself with. So experiencing freedom from that has just been like, now I have more time to go create. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's what we were called to do. Now I
Wow.
have more time to go be fruitful. Now my mind is juggling less ways to get over and to deal with embarrassment, hurt, shame, all this stuff. Now I can go create the opposite of that. So it's like,
Mm.
that's been the season I've been in the last year or so. It's like, wow, all these things I was clouding my mind with,
Right.
every week, they as I disappear, they disappear. You know what I'm saying? Like,
S- So you're talking about small shifts, okay? So you're talking about
oh
small shifts.
man. Hmm.
I mean, talk about some small shifts. The reason why, because someone's going to listen to this and be like, okay, okay, okay. Did you get the shot?
Yeah.
Did you get this? Did you already talked about the band, but
Yeah.
mind wise, because that's where we are now, right? You're talking about there had to be a mind shift somewhere.
Yep.
What about the small shifts? Um, um, how did all of these small things build momentum to start to lose weight? I mean, how did you get there?
My biggest, if I could start over and do this thing completely over again from scratch, I would do it completely differently.
Wow.
Um, because to your point, bro,
Mm.
we approach change, and it has to be drastic, it has to be noticeable
Right, right,
for it to be considered change.
correct.
And my thing is like, okay, sure, but when does it have to be noticeable? And I think for me, it's like, give yourself some time just to stop. Like, first master, stop getting fatter. Like master the game. Like stop gaining weight. Like if you go for the next year and don't put on a pound, master that because your issue isn't weight loss. Your issue is you gain weight. So we start off these weight loss journeys. Like I've got to cut down on food and start exercise and all these things with the goal to lose. But it's like, why don't you just learn to just why don't you just plateau? Why don't you plateau for the next 4 months and just and see what you can do with just not gaining anything? Because to me, that's when you build, to your point, the small incremental changes that'll create the long-term effects. So like for me, it's like little things like giving yourself 2.5 hours from your last bite to bedtime, getting a gallon of water in, or at least your weight in ounces, going for a 10 to 20 minute walk after your last meal. Things of that nature, I feel, are subtle, but they're also achievable place. They're achievable pieces you can place into the structure of your life. I don't think it's about whether you're vegan, carnivore, keto, because they all work. Every single one of those things works. So it's like choose one and go with it. I think the issue is people fall off because they don't know how to be committed because they haven't just first learned how to be committed to something. So it's like I'd reverse it. Learn commitment, learn structure, learn a schedule, and don't change anything. Don't change how you eat. Don't change how you move. Just get the rules of life in place. My thing was I'd eat my biggest meal 10 minutes before bedtime. Like, so it's like there's no way you're gonna find any success if you're eating a potato, steak, three sides, and drinking a few beers at 11 p.m. at night, and then going like it doesn't matter at that point what you're doing. So it's like create a system for your life that can now generate results when you start tweaking diet, exercise, things like that.
And
Um,
those are the little things that brought you to where you were. So
well,
you,
here's the thing about it. Like the last 6 months, I've been dropping, and I'm like, man, I'm losing weight quicker on this side of it because they normally say when you're huge, the speed of it is going to take place normally at the beginning when you're heavy. Like once you've been in it for a few years, it's probably going to slow down a bit and become average. But it's like I'm still dropping 5 to 7 pounds a month, right? So it's like, no, maybe not 5 to 7, maybe more like 3 to 5, right? But it's like it's just been consistent, and I believe it's because I've been approaching my diet like, let me give myself a food curfew. Let me make sure I'm getting my water. Let me pay attention to what I'm eating. And it's those little things that don't necessarily have a way to scale it, but just implementing those little things keeps your body in motion.
so
And
you're talking about consistency, basically.
100%,
Stay
we
consistent to something. Is it? Have you ever felt like? Have you ever dropped off the wagon, and what does dropping off the wagon look like?
yeah. And I saw something today where the guy was like, change the conversation. Like you didn't drop off the wagon. You aren't having cheat meals. No, you're a human having a human experience. You're telling me that you really think a donut,
It's gonna
like if
kill
you
you.
think eating that donut and that piece of pizza and that hamburger today is going to ruin 4 years of work, you're a psychopath. There's just no way that's going to happen unless it's like a 10 trillion calorie burger. And chances are, if that's the case, you're going to die. So it'll be a great burger. Then the next voice you hear is the Lord Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Like everybody wins. It's like,
Everybody wins.
but it's like that's just not realistic. So I think it's like for me, it's let me change my conversation about all of this. It's okay if it's okay if on the trip you pull off and look at some scenery. Scenic views do nothing for no one, but they're a great moment. What do scenic views do? They slow down the trip. They kill momentum. You were holding on, but now you're actually tired because you stopped. You've got to rev up again. You've got to get back in the flow. You've got to get back into traffic. Now you got to catch up with that group of cars you were driving with.
Right, right.
But here's the thing, bro. You got an amazing moment. You probably got a dope picture, and now your kids have a story about that thing they saw.
Wow.
So it's like treat that burger that's not the meal plan just like that. I pulled off the journey and I said, wow, let me just pause real quick and enjoy the moment because you're gonna get back on. It's you're a psychopath if you get off on the scenic route and try to build a home there,
Right, right, okay.
you know.
Definitely got that. I
And don't
got
get me
that.
wrong, I've done that, you know. but I think it's like giving us like giving yourself grace, I think is such a huge piece because we want to be perfect because we want the perfect results. But it's like I feel like we can create perfect results in a very imperfect way because life is not like the way to the top is an up and down journey. You know what I mean? So it's like you're gonna get there, but don't think you're not gonna fall on the way there. And I've given myself permission to, I understand what my goals are, and I've been at it long enough to know, oh, this thing right here, if I eat it, yep, it's not part of my plan.
Right.
So now I'm going to make some adjustments on my next meal. But guess what? I'm good.
My
Um,
wife says it like this. She's like, Sabbath, there's no calories.
Come on.
That's what she said. She said, "Okay, I'll count it any other time, but on Sabbath, there's
Yep.
no calories." But I'm seeing this not just for weight loss. I'm seeing this
Mhm.
in all different parts of those of us who go through our struggles here and there. I'm seeing this thing. I loved it when you said that it starts on the inside before the
Yeah.
outside. I think that that's something that's monumental for us to understand that
Yeah.
who cares about outside? Who cares?
Mm.
I think that, and I notice weight loss, but on the depression side, we have this tendency of trying to look good
Yeah.
or trying to
Yeah.
say the right things, or you don't want to cry in public, or you don't want. But but I think that what you're telling us is that if we just stay consistent with something,
Yeah.
we start to see certain things start to happen. I wanted to ask you this. People talk about different programs,
Mhm.
different weight loss programs. I know someone is going to text in or write in and be like, "Hey, what program are you on?" Because I heard you just say, you know, there's some programs that work, but you still
Mhm.
need this.
Yeah.
I want to know what is. I know you said consistency, but what is your program? I think I was looking at some of the stuff that you were talking about, and you were like, these are like 5 hacks, right, to
Mhm.
jumpstart weight loss. I don't know if what is your thing concerning it, but does programs really work? Do they really work, or is it something that people are just making money off of?
Um, my program works.
I like that though. I have to admit, I like that. Come on.
Here's what I'm learning. Here's what I'm learning, bro. Um, a lot of fitness influencers are on steroids, so they look the way they do because they're jacked. They're jacked because they're juicing. They're juicing because they got to look a certain way because that gives authority. I get it.
Okay.
I'd love a six pack, and if it, um, and I think the big thing, however, is like, and I'm not one of these guys that's like, oh, the medical industry is out to, and the doctors are evil. Like I'm not.
Sure.
I'm not.
Sure.
But I do believe there is something to look at what we're taught about food. I think there is a space where it makes more sense for my doctor to keep me on those 3 blood pressure medications I've been on for the last 15 years than to actually prescribe a lifestyle that rids my need for those chemicals to regulate my blood pressure. When there's also research that shows if you just make adjustments in your life, you can retrain your body where it doesn't need those things, right? So I think there's something there, right? And so I think ultimately it's like the biggest thing for me is these are addictions. So like when people start looking at like diet, weight, whatever, I feel like it still falls in it's just another form of crack. It's just the legal crack that, and so the food pyramid, for example, it's the food pyramid has been debunked, even though it's not a massive championing campaign speaking about it. Like the food pyramid has been debunked. All the grains they told folk to eat, and how it's been proven. Like the food pyramid came out and America became fat.
Right. Right.
We became the fattest nation on the planet, just like that.
Yep.
After our government said, "Here's how you should eat." So my thing is like, all right, and I'm a product of that. I'm a product of that food pyramid. So I think first of all, you've got to break the addiction. So I think you've got to approach the diet approach the same way you'd approach a crackhead, all those other things. Sorry, crackheads. I ain't trying to pick on y'all.
Mm,
There's other addictions,
mm,
but like crack is just
mm, mm.
and then after you approach from an addiction standpoint, I think you also have to approach from a heart work. Um, I would go to my therapist because I was feeling depressed because I was fat, and they would say, get on a treadmill. And I'm like, great. I'm still heartbroken though.
Oh, wow.
That doesn't take away anything that I'm grieving over. Now you want me to go sweat on an elliptical? You want me to go push some weights? It's not helping my hurt. So I think you've got to approach that from a standpoint of heal your heart and release the need for the thing. And once you release that need, then you can go make the major change. Like for me, bro, it's like ah, it gets me so excited that food and I have a new relationship, man.
Wow.
Like it really gets me so excited that I'm starting to be in a space where now I can be around it and be like, good, because you have to eat. You know,
Right. It's
you can't be
fuel.
like
It's fuel. It's
yeah.
fuel. It's
If you
fuel. You
if
have
if
to.
you yeah, there's no a crackhead. You need to stop smoking that crack.
Right. Right. Right.
Food though, there's
Right.
no way you can say, hey, I gave up food. I've been 7 months no food and I'm great. No, you're dead.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So discovering now I'm in a space where, and don't get me wrong, the temptation is definitely there, but now I'm so present to myself and I'm present at what I've been creating and experiencing. It's like, do I really want to put this at jeopardy over a Snickers bar?
Hold on. Are there some things you just don't eat anymore? Period. It's not. You're not telling us
Um,
what to eat from what not to eat. You're not putting that out there. I'm saying, is there
not
something that you don't eat anymore?
not really.
Okay.
And here's the thing about right now I'm in a phase of my life where I'm really starting to just get better education on what all the things do.
So
Why
you're
do
not
I need
you're not
carbs
trying to
at
say
this time?
woke.
What
You mean it's not. You're not going to be. You're not in this woke thing over food. It's just be
nah.
educated on what it is.
And I think that comes over. So during these last 4 years, I did keto, which is basically no carbs, no sugar.
Okay.
I was vegan for 6 months. I was pescatarian. Like I've low key like dabbled with different types of menu options
Right.
just
Right.
to see what I like.
Right. Right.
Um, and I just over that, and I would recommend anybody just go do that for like the next 4 or 5 years, just
Mhm.
because you'll discover things from different meal ideas that just help you and benefit you. Even if you don't stay vegan, you might discover a vegan dish that adds results to your diet. Um, and I've done that. So now that I have a better understanding of what certain foods do to me, I can now navigate the kitchen and it can navigate restaurants
Right.
a lot
Right.
better because now I know how my body responds.
Ah.
And it's not that I am like people say, oh, I gotta stay away from carbs. But when you look at it, we just naturally overdo carbs. Like Thanksgiving, there's mashed potatoes. Some people have rice. There's sweet potatoes. There's macaroni and cheese. There's all kind of rolls. There's stuffing. I mean, these are six, and then
That
you
you.
have the carbs from vegetables. So it's like, why not just choose one carb source? I'm gonna get my carbs from the mac and cheese, and that's all I'm gonna have.
Right.
You'll go to Chipotle, you'll get the tortilla, you'll get the beans, you'll get the rice, all in one meal. It's like that's way too many sources.
Ah.
So for me, it's been a case of let me just understand what these things do and which one do I need the most. I'm trying to put on some muscle. Let me make sure I'm killing the protein.
Proteins. Right.
Get enough carbs for fuel,
Right.
a minimal amount of fats because ain't nobody mad no fat, and then the sugar piece I don't really need. So I can save sugar for 2 weeks from now at the birthday party when they have cake. I have some cake and I'm good. This is the other hack. I'll say this real quick.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The biggest hack when it comes to like food is stop looking at it as a day thing. Look at it as a week. How many calories did I get in this week? because the way your body, like the way my body is, there's like a 2 day delay with everything I do. So my thing is like, okay, I might have my treat meal on Sunday and I might go ham, but Monday I'm back to my normal eating routine and I'm going to hit the gym for 3 hours. Let me enjoy the heck out of that treat meal because I
Gotcha.
know what's coming tomorrow.
Got you.
And I think the way our bodies respond, they're more cumulative in that space of 7 days is a much better way to gauge how you're doing versus, oh man, bro, today I had a cookie. Was it good?
Right.
I hope it was a good cookie.
Right. Because now you're all mad that you had one little cookie.
Yeah, it's like, bruh, it better be a good, like, the thing is when it gets to day 3 and you've been having cookies every day, now
There's
there's
a
a
difference.
problem.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But it's like, bro, if you had a cookie today, I hope it was good. I hope you had some cold milk or almond milk or something to go with it. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but why spend energy feeling bad about something that's so delicious?
Wow.
You
Wow.
know?
When I do therapy or even coaching, I call it coaching right now. um, I always press journaling.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh,
on a personal level, for me,
yeah,
journaling was the best thing that I've ever dealt with to write down uh, what I'm thinking or what I'm going through, etc.
yeah.
His journaling helped you out? I know I've heard it on a show that you've done before. Some you talked about journaling. Talk to me about that. How has journaling helped you, and how can it help someone else?
Um, my journal's with me everywhere I go.
Wow.
Well, I have a few different journals. Um, I have my business journal, my creative journal, but then I have the journal that when I die is written for whoever gets it next. Um, I think, and this is something that came in my mind right now. Like I think we've got a journal for purpose. What's the like? And the shift for me in healing came when I started writing this letter to who's next. And I don't know who's gonna get this. It like I would hope it'd be my son, but I don't have any kids. Like I'd hope it be, but it's like so whoever gets
You
this
you got
next.
you got time. You got
Oh, I've
time.
got time.
Yeah,
This still works. I hope. I
you
hope.
said you're gonna be fruitful. You didn't say nothing about
And
multiplying, but you said you're gonna be fruitful.
we,
That's another show.
I
Go
was
ahead.
he was fruitful for about 5 to 7 minutes the other day. I, I think
You said purpose.
so.
You said purpose.
Purpose, bro. It's like so. I first of all to answer your question, yes, heck yeah. Journaling to me, I think is like my program starts off with journaling. It doesn't start off with choosing a diet plan. It doesn't start off with picking an exercise routine. It doesn't start off with buying some new gym shoes. It's like go get a journal and a special pen that you only use for this one journal and start there. I think for me, remember Hooked on Phonics?
Of course.
Remember that?
Of course.
Hooked on Phonics changed my life.
Of
And that was
course.
the like, oh, that was the greatest thing about FH Jenkins when they made us, they implemented second semester was all Hooked on Phonics. They
Hmm.
prepped us in such anyway.
I remember it.
One of the big things I remember from that was they were like, you have to take notes because there's something about once you write it down, it now is imprinted into your brain
That's right.
forever.
That's right.
You may
That's
have to
so.
look for it, but it's there. And I found that when I journal, bro, especially when I'm journaling in a space of this is who I am now, it's almost like when I try to BS myself with my negative self-talk, it's almost like, what are you talking about? You've written this out. Like, why are you're, it's almost like there's now a space where I know I'm living and walking in contradiction. And so it's like, because one of the things I don't know how you journal, but like, or how you share people to journal. I would always just journal in real time. I
Okay.
never knew what I was doing. It's like, oh, dear diary, today
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, and this is how
Mm-hmm.
I.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my mentors was like, he was like, bro, you've gotta journal as who you want to be. You have to journal that way because what's the deciding factor that gets you to where you want to be? So just be that person now. And so I've discovered that when I journal like as healthy, as in shape, as everything's like, as that guy,
Right.
something different happens on the inside.
Mm.
I believe it's possibility. For me, it's like, it's possible, bro, because you said it. You said it out loud now. It's now on paper. It's now official. And now it's a real possibility. You can now choose to go after it. You can be willing to put whatever work is involved in getting there. That's up to you, but it's now possible. And so I think for me, and I think for folks when it comes to changing your life, if you're not constantly reminding yourself and rewriting that
That's
it's
it.
possible,
That's it.
it's
That's it.
it's the physical follows what happens up here. It's not the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning that it's like my journaling has been like, whoever gets this book is going to trip out. There's confessions in this that I've only told God Himself. Whoever gets this going,
And we do know that there are all types of journaling.
yeah,
um,
yeah,
I think my journal, the journal that I had, which I have to keep up, was I needed to cuss out some people, and
oh,
I needed to put in there why I don't like you.
yeah,
I had to, and I'm not even going on the love, like I'm talking about like right now. I'm not talking about
yeah,
loving people. I had to actually write it down so that my brain cannot can stop trying to figure it out.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
my brain had to stop. I had to journal so that my brain can say, okay, you wrote that down. That's the way you felt then. And sometimes I have to go back to it. It actually is sitting right here. I had to go back to it to say, this is the reason why you felt like this. It's not your fault.
yeah,
It's not you. And I'm not talking
yeah,
about when you're talking about weight loss, that there are some things that's your fault. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
Especially
Oh yeah.
there's some things you put together that's your fault. Matter of fact, a lot of it is your fault.
Mhm.
But you have to be, for me, I had to be able to write it out so that I can say, okay, this is where I am because
Yeah.
I lie to myself a lot.
Mm.
But the journal keeps me honest.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, that's good.
It
That's
just
good.
keeps me
That's good.
honest. It makes me say to
No
myself,
lies in
"Nah,
the journal.
you ain't all that. You don't
Yeah.
even play yourself." It's so when you started talking about journaling, I knew that there was an importance in it because even though you said no, and I'm talking to somebody out there, the biggest part of journaling, as you said, Ive, is purpose.
Mm.
What is the purpose for it? Not
Yeah.
just moving your hand, not just writing it through, but for there to be some type of solution. Let me ask you this. Do you have a program? Because we never talked about this. Is there an actual program that you're putting together for those who want to lose weight?
Yeah. I've been working with a few people over the last like year and a half.
Okay. Okay.
Um, People just would DM me like, "Hey man, I found you, and I don't know what it is because you still fat as heck, but will you?" It's when I tell you it's just one of it's like, what? Because it's like, yeah, like how are you half my size coming to me for weight loss tips? But I think here's the truth, and I really and I say this with confidence of I really believe what I've discovered is the way to beat the addiction. You can apply this to really any addiction. I
This
mean,
what
my
you
context
were
is
saying in the
food,
very beginning.
you know.
Hmm.
But it's like I think the biggest thing that the medical field has done has made it impossible to lose weight because you're fighting results, and you can't make ample change in anything just going after results. You have to fight cause. You have to go to the root. And my big success has been, let me just stay fixing the root of the problem, and let me continue to educate myself about food. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I got
And
you.
then and it's those like and it's just, it's crazy because, and that's not even like the activity exercise piece, respectfully, is not really a factor. You don't have to go to the gym 3 hours a day to lose fat. Now, I would recommend doing it because you'll build muscle and
Right.
you'll just look and feel better.
Right.
But it's like you don't even need to be a gym rat to not be fat anymore. To me, it's like but why wouldn't why I exercise every day is because it's like, why wouldn't I? Like I'm going through all this hard work. I've been
I like
stressed.
that.
I've been stressing and unstressing myself out, working through depression. Like I've been doing all the work and the steps. Why not get it into the gym? Why not get the whole package? Um, and as days go by, I believe that seeing and experiencing the results in all the areas begins to be the fuel that you don't want to quit. So it's no longer necessarily just about like, I think there is obviously commitment there, but then it's like you're also forming. I don't think addiction's bad. You're forming a new addiction. You're forming something new to fuel and for me it's like, if I'm at the gym for 10 hours tomorrow, there's a problem. Just because now that's completely unnecessary. But it's like now I'm replacing and getting a fulfillment that across the board allows me to win.
Wow.
So it's like,
Wow.
why not do it all? But I think that just comes over time, respectfully. And the way my program operates, it's very segmented. If you're not right in this space and in a structural manner,
Yeah.
why would we go to your kitchen? You're not ready to throw away your favorite food. What are you talking about? You know, and so it's this thing where I remember my first diet, they had me on these meal replacements, and I'm 10. And I'm drinking this thing like, wait, so no more pizza? And it's just like it's this thing where
Wow.
we start taking these drastic actions, but it's like if you haven't even talked about what's happening here and what's hurting here, you have no business going anywhere else. And
Because it's the mindset first. Yo,
bro,
I'm coming to the end of this. Where's God in all of this?
my dude is
And I'm not asking you to be a preacher.
nah.
That's and you know what I mean by that, man. We grew up in the same faith. I'm not asking you to be a part of that's not what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. You know, when you're addicted, when in any alcohol anonymous, any sexaholic anonymous, whatever you want to call it, there's always should be a higher being or something. Sometimes we even tell them, hey, if it's this pencil sharpener right here, make that your God, or make it something that you have to be accountable to.
Yeah.
Where's God in this for you?
I just here That's a loaded question, bro.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
I'll put
I
it to you
got
like
you.
I'll put it to you like this. Like when we get to heaven, man,
Yeah.
I'm getting on his calendar. I'm like, God, I gotta get on
I
your
need to
calendar.
talk to you about some stuff.
Bruh, can I reserve one of the conference rooms at we ain't even gotta go to the main headquarters. Can we go to the east side? Like this dude is so interesting to me that I believe we know who we are. Like I believe when we're born, like you know who you are.
Yeah.
I think we get to do life to become that thing we know that we are. And a lot of times when we get caught up in the, are you going to be a doctor? Are you going to be a this? Are you going to be a that? And we look at we start looking at framework. But what's the spirit that's going to be abiding within that space? You know who you are already, and you may end up being a different thing, but you're going to show up as that thing to be the thing you need to be. You know, right? It's funny to me because it's like if you would have told me that
Come on.
ah, if you would have told me that first of all, I'd be getting giddy about my health alone. If you were to tell me that I was passionate about caring and loving and taking care of myself from a health standpoint,
Right.
anytime in my life, I would have laughed you out of the room. I would have been like, "Word, you telling me I'm gonna be caring about my weight? Come on." So that's my that's the first miracle.
Right.
That'll never happen. But then to compound it with now I have this burning desire and this passion for you to experience what I'm experiencing, for you to be free.
That's the gospel
For
right there.
you to get to spread your wings, for
That's the
you to say
gospel.
like, yo, like let me burn down this cage I've built for myself so you can fly. Like to me, if that I know is the like that's I know I'm like that's God all day. Because I for many years haven't cared about myself. Why would I care about you?
Right.
And now it's like I wake up thinking about folks like, man, I hope that dude like praying for folks I don't even know, like, yo, like this is my calling. What? There's no way I would have written this story. No way. There's no way I would have ever imagined this would be where I'm finding joy, where I'm finding purpose, where I'm desiring more. And so God is so interesting because it's like here's the thing about it. The devil,
Hmm.
it's always somebody that's beneath you, that's lower than you, that questions your identity. The serpent was not an equal to Adam or Eve at all.
That's true.
He was a serpent.
That's true.
That's all he was. He might have been beautiful creation, he might have been glorious, but he was still not on their level.
Right.
And he looked up like he was living on the ground, talking about, do y'all know who y'all are? Y'all sure y'all know who y'all are?
Hmm.
And I've discovered that that's what we do to ourselves. We allow the sin of ourselves to question who our divine purpose is in
Mercy,
ourselves.
man. You going with
And
that.
we
You
have
going
this
with that.
tug of war, and we tug of war, and it looks like something different for everybody. But when all is said and done, whew, and it's like, for me, it's like we've got to, it's a case of taking back your identity,
Yeah, I
bro.
love that.
This is the last thing I'll say that I'm done,
No,
I
no, no. I
promise.
love that. I love that. You talking
I,
good.
I, our self-talk is so huge, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, this last weekend at church, this kid came up to me. I've been at this church for 12 years. I've known this kid since he was like 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
All of his life, I've been Uncle Ercell.
Mm-hmm.
This kid is now like 15. He started following me on Instagram. And he was like, Ercell. He was like, dude, you lost some weight. And I'm like, what? He's like, dude, bro, I'm on your IG, man. When did you seriously lost some weight, bro?
Wow.
Wow, man. And I'm like, Isaiah, I see you every week. I've known you like, and it was like he was clueless that I was fat, clueless. And it's one of these things where it's like, wow, like people are gonna only latch on and see what we tell them to see about ourselves.
Wow.
And I don't know about you, but I've allowed the lesser version of me to be my spokesperson. So I'm talking my insecurities. All the things I hate are the things I talk about. My stand up wasn't filled with all the great things about me. It was about the two things I hated about myself, right? And it's like people begin to see who you tell them you are. And it's like what's the story and who do you want to be? And do you have the courage to just be that person? And so it's like the discovery that the greatest story we get to co-write is the one we do with God in our lives.
Hmm. That we get to co-write.
And I think it becomes co-written only in this space. Like I'm not taking anything like because Psalm 139 clearly says, look, I knew you before you were a thought. So I'm
Sure.
not taking anything away. But I believe there's a part in our lives where we finally, where it's almost like God's like, you get it? Do you get it now? Now can we play? Stop praying to lose weight. That's not the prayer. Like, why are you praying such a stupid prayer? Such a small prayer. Do
No,
you
no,
know
no,
who I
no. I
am?
get it. I get it. I get it.
I've called you to impact the world and
Yep.
you're trying to fit in an airplane seat. Come on,
Yeah.
bro. Let's get you to where I need you to be. Let me take this tangible thing and lead you to where I've called you to be. And now we get to do something fun together. So because now I'm approaching God as the guy that got me from my biggest impossible thing. Weight was my mountain. That was my mountain, bro. And so God's like, dude, it's gone. Now can we play? Now can you live out your purpose? And I feel that we get in the way of that opportunity that God has presented for us from birth. So it's like rewrite it and heal your heart, and that thing will vanish because I firmly believe God, He started a good work, He's going to finish it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I firmly believe that everything we need to accomplish His mission, he's planted in us. And the way we discover it is through being willing to go deeper.
Yeah.
And so I encourage everybody get in your word, get on your knees. I'm a huge advocate for people loving Jesus and being saved. That's huge for me because my thing is like without Christ,
What else
what
you
is the
got?
purpose of this?
Yeah.
You have nothing else.
What else you got?
So,
That's
and I
huge,
believe
man.
this is something that's bigger.
That's huge.
So yeah,
You know, that wasn't one of the questions that I had for you, but I thank you for that because one of the takeaways that I got from that just now, believe it or not, is that you tell people um, the side of you, and I
Hmm.
think that that we ought to be careful that we ought to tell them the greater side and
Yeah,
not the weaker side. You know,
yeah.
um, it's just amazing. I've watched you. I follow you. Like I said, I've known you from when we took your van to the first
Oh, that's some
Oshkosh,
campery.
to
Yeah,
the
no, yeah,
first
yeah.
Oshkosh. That was the first
Yeah, I remember
Oshkosh.
that.
That was the
Yep.
first Oshkosh. So I've always been up at Camporee, and remember, I'm just saying where you were, and I'm talking about
Hmm.
body wise, because honestly, the person that I know now, the person that I hear online now and see on online, to me, that's the same person, but in a different body.
Yeah,
You're telling me something different. No, Pat, I'm healthy, not just body wise, or not just, but I'm healthy here. I'm healthy
yeah.
spiritually. I'm healthy where I need to be, and I think it's amazing. I can hold you here for another half an hour just going because
Hey,
you've uplifted someone, you've talked this thing, and you've lived this thing. And
yeah,
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
yeah.
So how could people get in contact with you? I'm sorry to put now this is the worst part, right? I like to get this flow of people like calling or
Um,
DMing you. How do they get you?
yeah. I mean, my DMs are open. Facebook, Ercell Ivanhoe.
Hmm.
Instagram, Ercell Ivanhoe.
Hmm.
Um, I'll be honest. I love hearing from people
Okay.
because it's here's the thing. It takes a lot of courage to show up to something. It takes even more courage to allow yourself to be known. So when somebody hops in a DM to a stranger about to have a conversation about something deep, takes a lot of courage. And so my big thing is like I know what it's like to be on that side of the keyboard. And here's the truth, I'm still working through it. So it's not like I get it. So if there was something I said, reach out. I would love to see how I can be a part of your story. Um, the cool thing is I get to see people. This dude hit me up. He was this big 6'6", huge white guy.
Yeah.
Dale hits me up. He's
Hmm.
like, man, I saw one of your videos, bro, and you inspired me. I'm about to get my life together. I'm gonna train to be in a bodybuilding competition. And I'm just like, okay. I can't even. I was like, all right, okay. Real talk. I just because I'm like, all right, oh, that's great. 3 weeks ago, this dude competed and won his division of this amateur. He got like over four. He's like 40. I think he's 42, 43. He won his division of
Come
walk
on.
on, and I'm just like, what? And it's like though. It's little things like my boy Jeremiah ran his first half marathon a couple weeks ago, and he hits me up like, Urs, bro, it like thank you for being willing to share because you gave me an idea that maybe I can do something impossible. And so I'll be honest, like the only reason why I share, because I'll be honest, I'm having a blast. I don't need y'all to know. I'm not sharing this for vanity. I could care, like, trust me, I'm enjoying my life.
Yes.
But I share it because I know I've been blessed to meet a lot of people and a lot of different people. I've been in many different seasons of my life over the years. So I've got to meet a bunch of different people, and it's like, yo, like, why do I know these folks? If I can share and hopefully plant a seed or add to someone's decision to change their life, like game on.
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah, man.
I want to be a part. Yeah.
Listen, man, I thank Oliver Marceau for introducing us back then.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We don't talk as often as we should, but
Yeah,
if you get us in the corner together, it's a wrap right there.
yeah.
That's my boy. He lives close by, and Oliver, him and Denise, they're just right where they need to
Yeah,
be. But
that's my dude.
I'm waiting to see where else what level God is gonna take you to. And
Hmm.
I just want you to remember me when you,
Oh, cut it out,
in your
bro.
earthly
Cut
kingdom,
it
man.
out.
I just want you to remember me.
Patrick, you see, so we talk about this. I promise this will be the last thing. We
No, man.
remembering. This is really the first time I met you was in like '88, bro, or like '89. You and Paul came up to Hillcrest in Nashville, and it was y'all in Dynamic Praise, and y'all did this concert that changed our lives. And I remember you and Paul, y'all rolled this Hillcrest is if Hillcrest was huge, and they
Hmm.
had that huge aisle.
Yeah.
Y'all rocked from the bottom of that aisle all the way up the aisle to the end of the room and back. I'm going to tell the Lord all about it. Count up. Yo, we rocked that tape till it broke, brother. Like that was that, and that's my first memory of y'all.
Come on, man.
And so, and we'd go down. Yep. So, yep. So, see, it's always an honor to be in your
Man,
presence.
listen,
Always an honor.
man. I appreciate that. I don't. All I know is that somebody's life has changed. I'm using some of the same concepts that you've used to help me in my life. There's certain things we need to do. That's why I came out with MSAD conversations because
Yeah.
it's it's not about just my microcosm, my little story. We all have
Yeah.
stories to tell
Yeah.
that can
Yeah.
help the next person to the next level. Man, just thanks for hanging out with me.
Thank you. Thank you so
I know
much.
it's early over there still.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. That's that.
and that's one thing about California, boy. Florida and California for me.
Yeah.
California, it's like the sun comes up somewhere different. It's like mental
Yeah.
health is beautiful for me when I get out there. So
Yeah.
it's still out there. It's still
Yeah.
beautiful out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Love California. Listen, I haven't talked to your mom in a while. Hail her up for me. Seen your
Yep.
brother just the other day. Man, where were we? Seen him just the other day. I think it was at TA, one of these places I've seen him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just keep the family tight. Man, I love you and
Thank
I
you.
thank you, man,
Yeah.
for hanging with
Love you too,
us.
bro.
I appreciate it,
Thank
man.
you.
I appreciate it.
Blessing.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir. Well, everybody, this is my man who he told us a couple of things that we needed to know concerning weight loss. You know how to get in contact with him. I promise you that I will put it in the link below for you to be able to contact him. Here we are at MSAD, managing stress, anxiety, and depression. And who would ever think that weight loss and mental health was just so linked together? What I'd like for you to do is to subscribe, share this with someone you love. And remember this, God bless you. God bless you real good.
We also want to take a moment to express our gratitude for your support. If you appreciate the content we provide and would like to support us as we continue delivering quality episodes, please consider making a financial contribution to msadtipjar.com. Your support, no matter the size, goes a long way in keeping this program running and accessible to everyone. Thank you for being a part of our community. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of MSAD. We hope you found valuable insights and inspiration to enhance your mental health journey. If you enjoyed the show, please consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us grow and reach more listeners like you. Again, thank you from the host, Patrick Graham of MSAD, Managing Stress, Anxiety, and Depression. Have a great day, and God bless you real good.